I stared at my bank account balance, mentally willing the numbers to change. They didn't. After paying my parents' mortgage yesterday, I was exactly $297 short on my own rent. Again, my name is Marley, and this is the story of how I paid my parents' mortgage for 18 months before watching them lose everything. They deserved it. But we'll get to that part. It started with a phone call 6 weeks ago. I was at work reviewing contracts for the law firm where I'm a paralegal when my mom's name lit up my phone screen. "Honey," her voice cracked. "Are you somewhere you can talk?" I stepped into the hallway, that familiar knot forming in my stomach, the one that always appeared when my mother called crying. "What's wrong?" "It's your father. He lost his job, the company downsized, and..." She broke into sobs. "We might lose the house." The world tilted sideways. Dad had worked at Mitchell & Sons Construction for 25 years. It was supposed to be his forever job, the one he'd retire from. "How much is the mortgage?" I asked, already opening my banking app. $2,000 a month. She sniffled. "We have some savings, but with property taxes and insurance..." "Marley, I don't know what we're going to do." I did the math quickly. Between my salary and my side gig doing freelance legal research, I could make it work. Barely. "I'll cover it," I said. "Just send me the account details." "Oh, honey, we couldn't possibly..." "Mom, stop. It's our family home. I'm not letting you lose it." Later that night, I sat cross-legged on my bed, creating a new budget spreadsheet. No more therapy sessions. Cancel the gym membership. Cut my grocery budget in half. As I typed, my phone buzzed with a text from my brother Gavin. "Heard about Dad. Crazy stuff. Wish I could help, but you know how it is with my art." Right. My 24-year-old brother's art. The same brother who hadn't held a job longer than 3 months since high school, who still lived at home rent-free until last month, when he suddenly announced he needed to find himself. I typed back, "Don't worry about it. I've got it covered." 3 dots disappeared, then, "You're the best, sis. Hey, random question. Did Mom seem okay when you talked to her?" "She was pretty upset. Maybe you should call her?" "Can't right now. Signal's weird here. But tell her I love her." I tossed my phone aside and returned to my spreadsheet. That's how it had always been. Gavin the free spirit, me the responsible one. When he totaled his first car at 17, guess whose college fund got drained to replace it? When he needed emergency money for art supplies last Christmas, guess who covered it? The next morning, I walked the 6 blocks to work instead of taking the bus. My new normal. At lunch, while everyone ordered takeout, I ate the peanut butter sandwich I'd packed. "Earth to Marley." My coworker Jessica waved her hand in front of my face. "You're zoning out again. Everything okay?" "Yeah, just family stuff." I forced a smile. "Dad lost his job." "Oh no, that's terrible." She paused, chopsticks halfway to her mouth. "Wait, wasn't your brother just posting about traveling or something?" I blinked. "What?" "Yeah, on Instagram. Something about needing to explore the world." She pulled out her phone, scrolling. "Here, posted 3 days ago. Sometimes you just have to take the leap." I stared at the photo. Gavin, backpack slung over one shoulder, standing in what looked like an airport terminal. The timestamp said 6:43 a.m. "Must be an old photo," I said, but something cold settled in my stomach. That evening, I called my mom again. "Hey, just checking in. How's Dad doing with the job search?" "Oh, you know your father." Her voice wavered slightly. He's trying. Thank you again for helping with the mortgage, sweetie. You've always been our rock." I heard voices in the background, then Dad's muffled, "Tell her I said hi." "Dad's home?" I asked. "I thought he'd be out job hunting." "He was earlier," Mom said quickly. "Listen, honey, I need to go. The chicken's about to burn." After we hung up, I opened my banking app again. The mortgage payment had cleared, $2,000 gone. My rent was due in 3 days. I had $897 in my account, two maxed out credit cards, and a growing suspicion that something wasn't adding up. But family is family, right? We do what we have to do. God, I was an idiot. 18 months. That's how long I lived on ramen noodles and store-brand coffee while paying my parents' mortgage. 18 months of we're so close to getting back on our feet. And your father has another promising interview next week. I was getting ready for work one morning when Jessica poked her head into my office. Hey, want to grab lunch? That new sushi place opened downtown. Can't. I held up my sad paper bag lunch. Saving money. She frowned, perching on the edge of my desk. Still? Marley, you've been saving money for over a year now. When's the last time you did anything fun? I do fun things, I protested. Last weekend Exactly. She grabbed my phone, opening Instagram. Look, even your parents are living more than you are. Your mom posted this yesterday. The photo showed my mother at her favorite salon, getting a fresh manicure. French tips, the expensive kind with tiny crystals. The caption read, "Sometimes you have to treat yourself." Must be a gift certificate, I said automatically. From a friend or something? Jessica raised an eyebrow. Like the golf club membership your dad's been using? The one he posted about last month? What golf club membership? She scrolled through my father's feed. There he was, grinning on a pristine green course, new clubs gleaming in the sunlight. Finally broke 80. Love these Thursday morning games with the boys. My hands started shaking. That must be... Marley. Jessica's voice was gentle. How long has your dad been unemployed again? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Sweetie, the mortgage payment is due tomorrow. Just reminding you. I opened my banking app. 147 total. The mortgage would leave me with 147 for the next 2 weeks. Again. I have to go, I mumbled, grabbing my purse. Cover for me? I spent my lunch break in my car, scrolling through months of social media posts I'd been too busy working to notice. Dad at golf tournaments, mom at spa days, weekend trips to wine country. How had I missed all this? My phone rang, Gavin's face lighting up the screen. I hadn't heard from him in months, except for the occasional group text. I let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, a text. Sis, you'll never believe where I am. Check your mail. Sent you something awesome. The postcard arrived that afternoon, a stunning view of Cinque Terre, Italy. On the back, in Gavin's messy scrawl, living the dream. Can't believe mom and dad made this happen. 1 full year exploring Europe. How incredible are they? Miss you. P.S. Don't work too hard. Love, Gav. I read it 3 times before the words actually registered. 1 full year. Mom and dad made this happen. The same parents who couldn't afford their own mortgage. I called my mother. Oh, honey, she answered on the first ring. I was just thinking about you. How are you? How's Dad's job search going? My voice was eerily calm. Well, you know how these things are. The market is so competitive. Really? Because his golf game seems to be improving. Silence. Marley. And Gavin's having a great time in Italy. 1 full year abroad, Mom? That must be expensive. It's not what you think. She was using her placating voice now, the one she used when Gavin crashed cars or maxed out credit cards. We had some savings set aside for him, and... Savings? I laughed, a harsh sound. Enough for a year in Europe, but not enough for your mortgage? You don't understand. Gavin needed this opportunity. He's finding himself, discovering his passion. While I work 2 jobs and eat peanut butter sandwiches to pay your bills, my voice cracked. How long has Dad actually been employed? More silence. Mom, he never lost his job. The world went very, very quiet. In that moment, I could hear my heart beating, could feel 18 months of sacrifice crystallizing into something hard and sharp in my chest. Marley, please let me explain. I hung up, opened my banking app one last time. stared at the recurring payment scheduled for tomorrow. $2,000, Webb family mortgage. My finger hovered over the cancel button. They say the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. In that moment, looking at that payment screen, I felt something shift inside me. Something final. I pressed cancel. Then I blocked my parents' numbers, poured myself a glass of wine, and opened my laptop. It was time to see exactly what else my family had been hiding from their responsible, reliable, foolish daughter. The mortgage payment bounced the next day. It was just the beginning. That night, I did something I hadn't done in months. I opened Instagram and really looked at my brother's profile. Not just a quick glance between spreadsheets and budget calculations, but a deep dive into the life my sacrifices had funded. First post, Gavin lounging on a yacht off the Amalfi Coast, designer sunglasses perched on his nose. Caption, living my best life, just blessed. Date stamp, 3 months after Dad lost his job. I poured more wine. Second post, private villa in Santorini. Third post, first-class ticket to Barcelona. Fourth, shopping bags from Gucci and Prada scattered across a hotel bed in Milan. Each photo was a knife twist, each caption more nauseating than the last. When your parents believe in your dreams. Another incredible dinner courtesy of Mom and Dad. Best gap year ever, can't wait for what's next. My phone buzzed. 15 missed calls from my mother, 7 from my father, 3 voicemails. I played the first one. Marley, there's something wrong with the mortgage payment. Call me back immediately. Delete. Second. Honey, please, we can explain everything. Your father and I. Delete. Third. The bank called. We need to talk. This isn't like you, sweetheart. We're your parents. I laughed out loud at that one. Parents. Right. A new Instagram notification popped up. Gavin had just posted a story. My thumb moved before I could stop it. Big news! His face filled the screen, flushed with excitement. Just booked 3 months in Greece. Shout out to the best parents ever for making all this possible. Sorry about the extra expense, guys, but you know what they say. You can't put a price on finding yourself. The wine glass in my hand shattered. As I cleaned up the broken glass, my email pinged. Group message from Dad. Family. Due to an unexpected issue with our mortgage payment, we're facing possible foreclosure unless we can wire $6,000 to the bank immediately. This is an emergency situation. Love, Dad. Gavin replied, all within minutes. OMG, so sorry. Wish I could help, but I just put down deposits for Mykonos. Maybe Marley can cover it? She's always been good with money stuff. I started laughing, then crying, then laughing again. My phone rang. Jessica. Your mom just called the office looking for you, she said without preamble. Said it was an emergency. Are you okay? I'm great. I wiped my eyes. Actually, I need a favor. Know any good financial lawyers? My cousin Mark specializes in real estate law. Want his number? Yes. I looked at the growing pile of evidence on my laptop screen. And Jessica, thanks for opening my eyes. After hanging up, I opened my email and started a new draft. Dear Dad, regarding the mortgage situation, you're right, it is an emergency. Funny how that happens when you commit fraud. Don't bother calling again. I'll be in touch through my lawyer. Marley P.S. Tell Gavin to enjoy Mykonos. I hear the foreclosure process takes months. I hit send, then poured myself another glass of wine, in a plastic cup this time. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Marley? It's Aunt Felicity, your mother's sister. I know we haven't spoken in years, but I saw Gavin's posts. We need to talk. I hadn't seen Aunt Felicity since I was 9. She'd had a falling out with my mother over something no one would explain to me. About what? I texted back. About the real reason I was cut out of the family, and about the apartment they've been renting in your name for the past 5 years. I sat up straight. What apartment? Check your mail tomorrow. I'm sending you something that will explain everything. And Marley? They deserve what's coming. Another email from my father popped up. Sweetheart, please, let's talk about this like adults. Your mother is beside herself. I archived it without reading further and opened my laptop again. If I was going to burn this all down, I wanted to do it right. By midnight, I had screenshots of every Instagram post, bank statements showing 18 months of mortgage payments, Gavin's public posts about mom and dad funding his travels, a consultation scheduled with Jessica's lawyer cousin, a growing suspicion that Aunt Felicity was about to hand me a match to light this whole powder keg. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Gavin. Hey sis, what's going on? Mom's hysterical. Dad's freaking out. Did something happen with the house payment? I typed back 4 words. Ask them about Italy. Then I turned off my phone, opened a spreadsheet, and started calculating exactly how much my family owed me, with interest. 3 weeks of silence does interesting things to people. My parents cycled through every manipulation tactic in their arsenal: guilt-tripping texts, tearful voicemails, even a surprise visit to my office that I dodged by ducking into the supply closet. Gavin, predictably, switched from concerned brother to entitled brat in record time. You're being ridiculous, his latest text read. There are parents. You're ruining everything. I was at my desk, reviewing the foreclosure notice that had just arrived, when Jessica knocked on my door. Your mom's in the lobby again. I didn't look up. Tell her I'm in a meeting. She brought cookies this time. Throw them out. Jessica lingered. She's crying. She's always crying. I finally met her eyes. Did I tell you they used my name to rent an apartment I didn't know about? What? Yeah, Aunt Felicity sent me the paperwork yesterday. They've been collecting rent under my social security number for 5 years. Tax evasion, identity theft, take your pick. Jessica sat down hard. Holy shit. That's not even the best part. I pulled up my email. Want to see what Gavin just sent to the family group? The email was classic Gavin, all caps and drama. Everyone needs to calm down. Yes, this situation sucks, but I already put down non-refundable deposits for Mykonos. My mental health depends on this trip. Can't we just figure this out? Marley, stop being petty and help our parents. Mom and Dad, maybe sell some stuff? IDK, just fix it. I'm literally having panic attacks over this. Wow, Jessica whispered. Just, wow. My phone buzzed. Mark, the lawyer cousin, calling. Marley? I reviewed everything you sent. The mortgage fraud, the identity theft, the tax evasion. This is serious. How do you want to proceed? I thought about 18 months of sacrifices, about Gavin's Instagram posts, about my mother's tears that only seemed to fall when she needed something. All of it, I said. File everything. It'll destroy their credit, possibly lead to criminal charges. Good. After hanging up, I opened my email to find another family blast. Urgent. Meeting with bank tomorrow at 2 p.m. Needs $6,000 wire transfer by noon or foreclosure proceedings begin. This is not a drill. Dad. Gavin replied immediately. OMG, this is insane. I'm literally shaking. Marley, answer your phone. My mother. Sweetie, please. We can explain everything. Don't do this to us. I started typing. Dear family, since we're all being honest now, let's recap. Dad never lost his job. You used my money to fund Gavin's European vacation. You committed identity theft using my social security number. You lied to me for 18 months while I drained my savings the bank meeting tomorrow. Not my problem anymore. P.S. Gavin. Mykonos has lovely hostels. Try those. Marley. Send. My phone exploded immediately. I turned it off and went back to work. That evening, walking home, I saw my father's car parked outside my apartment building. I turned around and walked to a nearby coffee shop instead. The barista took one look at my face and added an extra shot of espresso without charging me. My phone had 17 new voicemails when I turned it back on. Mom, how could you do this to us after everything we've done for you? Dad, this isn't how we raised you. Gavin, you're literally ruining my life. Mom again. The neighbors will know. Everyone will know. Is that what you want? The last voicemail was from Aunt Felicity. I sent more documents. Check your email. And Marley, stay strong. They're showing their true colors now. I opened my email to find scanned copies of old bank statements, property records, and a very interesting tax return from 2018, the year my college fund mysteriously disappeared. My hands shook as I forwarded everything to Mark. A new email popped up from my father. We raised you better than this. Your mother can't stop crying. Is this really the daughter we raised, to abandon her family when they need her? I thought about the daughter they raised, the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who would sacrifice everything to help family. They were right about one thing. I wasn't that daughter anymore. I typed 2 words and hit send. I'm better. Then I opened my banking app and looked at my account balance. For the first time in 18 months, I had enough money for dinner that wasn't from a package. I ordered takeout, opened a bottle of wine, and started drafting an email to the IRS. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just letting people drown. It's making sure they know exactly why they're sinking. Aunt Felicity's house was exactly what I expected. A small craftsman with a wild garden and wind chimes everywhere. The black sheep of the family lived in defiant chaos, and I loved it immediately. You look just like your mother at your age, she said, opening the door, except your eyes are harder. Good. She led me to a kitchen that smelled of coffee and cinnamon. I've been waiting 20 years for someone to finally see them for what they are. Why did they really cut you off? I asked, accepting a mug of coffee. Felicity pulled out a worn leather folder. Because I threatened to expose their financial games. Your mother and I inherited this property portfolio from our parents. 5 buildings, all paid off. She was supposed to split the income with me. My hands tightened around the mug. What happened? She and your father created a shell company, transferred everything into it, and claimed the properties were worthless due to maintenance issues. Then they slowly sold them off, keeping all the profits. She smiled bitterly. I was naive enough to believe them at first. How much? About $2 million all told. She pulled out documents. But here's where you come in. That apartment they've been renting under your name, it's one of the original inheritance properties. They never actually sold it. I stared at the rental agreement. My signature had been forged perfectly. They've been collecting $2,500 a month in rent for 5 years, Felicity continued. All under your social security number to avoid taxes. Want to guess what they did with that money? Gavin, I whispered. Bingo. Your brother's finding himself fund. She pulled out more papers. But that's not even the best part. Remember your college fund? My throat tightened. They said the market crashed. The market was fine. They transferred it to an account in Gavin's name. $40,000, gone in 6 months on art supplies and creative workshops. I felt sick. Why are you showing me all this now? Because you're finally ready to see it. And because I've spent 20 years gathering evidence. She patted the folder. Everything's here. Bank statements, property records, tax fraud, identity theft. Enough to bury them. My phone buzzed. A text from Gavin. They're canceling my trip because of you. I hate you. I showed it to Felicity. She laughed. Your mother used to send me messages like that. You're ruining our family. How could you do this to us? They haven't changed their script in 2 decades. Did it hurt? I asked quietly. Cutting them off? Like hell, for years. She reached across the table, squeezed my hand. But living a lie hurts more. Another text came through from my mother. The bank is foreclosing. We'll be homeless because of you. I hope you're happy. Felicity peered at the message. You know what's interesting? They have money, lots of it. They're just used to never spending their own. What do you mean? She pulled out her laptop, typed briefly. Remember that shell company? It's still active. Want to see their current balance? I looked at the screen and felt my jaw drop. That's 7 figures, she finished. All while they made you pay their mortgage. all while they funded Gavin's grand tour, all while they played the victims. My hands were shaking. Why? Why do this to their own daughter? Because you let them. Felicity's voice was gentle but firm. Because you were reliable, responsible, the perfect mark. Not anymore, I said. No, she smiled. Not anymore. So want to hear my proposal? I raised an eyebrow. I've been waiting for the right moment to file a lawsuit about my inheritance, with your evidence added to mine. She gestured at the folder. We could take everything. Everything? The shell company, the apartment, the house, all of it. She leaned forward. They used your identity, Marley. That's criminal. Add tax fraud and inheritance theft. They'd be lucky to stay out of jail. My phone buzzed again. Dad this time. We're your parents. You owe us more than this. I showed Felicity the message. She snorted. Still the same guilt trips. I looked at the folder of evidence, then at my phone, then at this aunt I barely knew who had spent 20 years building a case while I spent 18 months draining my savings. Okay, I said. Let's do it. But I have one condition. Name it. I want the house. I met her eyes. When this is all over, I want to be the one who owns it. Felicity's smile turned wolfish. Oh, honey, we can do better than that. How about we take everything they have and put it in your name? Poetic justice, don't you think? I picked up my phone and typed a message to my parents. You wanted me to be responsible? Watch me. Then I turned to my aunt. Where do we start? She opened the folder. Right here. And Marley, welcome to the dark side of the family. For the first time in weeks, I smiled, really smiled. The first audit notice arrived on a Tuesday. I know because Dad's security camera, the one he forgot was linked to my cloud account, caught the exact moment my mother opened the envelope. Graham! Her scream echoed through the house. Graham, get down here now. I watched on my phone screen as my father stumbled into view, still in his golf clothes. What's wrong? IRS audit, identity theft investigation, potential criminal charges. She was hyperventilating, papers shaking in her hands. This has to be Marley. She's actually doing it. She's really doing it. My father snatched the papers. She can't prove anything. We'll call Robert. Robert, their accountant for 20 years. The same accountant who'd rolled over the moment Mark showed him the evidence we'd gathered. My phone buzzed, a text from Felicity. Robert just sang like a canary. Your parents' lawyer is calling them in 3, 2, 1. On my screen, my father's cell phone rang. His face went from red to white as he listened. What do you mean you can't represent us anymore? He started pacing. Conflict of interest? What conflict of... Robert said what? Mom grabbed his arm. Graham, what's happening? He put the phone on speaker just in time to hear their lawyer say, the evidence is overwhelming. Bank fraud, tax evasion, identity theft. I'm sorry, but I have to recuse myself. I'd strongly suggest finding criminal defense representation. The line went dead. Mom collapsed onto the couch. Call Gavin, he needs to come home. I switched to Instagram. My brother had gone radio silent since his last post 2 days ago, a bitter rant about toxic family members and betrayal that got more likes than it deserved. But an hour later, there he was on the security feed, storming through the front door with designer luggage in tow. This is insane. He threw his bags down. My trip is ruined. My credit cards are frozen, and the bank is asking questions about money transfers. What's going on? Mom burst into tears. Dad poured himself a drink. Your sister, he spat, is trying to destroy this family. By reporting your crimes? I muttered at my phone screen. Gavin paced the living room. So fix it. You always fix everything. We can't, Mom whispered. Not this time. She has proof about everything. What everything? The inheritance we kept from Felicity, the apartment we rented in her name, your college fund. Gavin stopped pacing. What about my college fund? Silence. Mom, Dad, what about my college fund? Dad downed his drink. It was supposed to be Marley's. What? We we took it for you, for your art supplies, your workshops. Gavin sat down hard. You stole my sister's college fund for my art supplies? You needed it more. Mom reached for him. She was always so capable, so independent. Because she had to be. Gavin stood up, shocking me with his sudden clarity. Because you spent everything on me. God, no wonder she hates us. My phone buzzed, a text from Mark. IRS just froze all their accounts. Shell Company too. Want to watch? I switched back to the security feed just as my father checked his phone. No, he whispered. No, no, no. What? Mom grabbed his phone. They can't. How will we pay for anything? The house, the cars? The same way I did, I muttered. Get a job. Gavin was still standing, looking shell-shocked. I need to talk to Marley. No! Mom grabbed his arm. She'll just twist everything around. Like you did. He pulled away. I'm done. I need to think. He grabbed his bags and walked out. 10 minutes later, his message appeared on my phone. I didn't know about any of it. Can we talk, please? I stared at the message for a long time before replying. Coffee shop on 5th, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Back on the security feed, my parents were falling apart. Mom was crying on the couch while Dad made desperate phone calls to banks, lawyers, accountants, anyone who might help. No one would. Felicity called. Having fun? Should I feel bad about enjoying this? Absolutely not. Oh, by the way, the foreclosure notice arrives tomorrow. Special delivery. I smiled. How long until they have to move out? 30 days, unless someone buys it first. She paused. Someone with, say, access to their frozen assets once the court rules in our favor? You mean someone like me? Exactly like you. She laughed. Ready for phase 2? I looked at my screen one last time. Mom was still crying. Dad was still making calls. Their perfect world was crumbling, and for once, they couldn't manipulate their way out of it. Ready, I said. Sometimes karma needs a little help, and sometimes that help comes with compound interest. Gavin looked different, smaller somehow without the designer clothes and cocky smile. He sat across from me at the coffee shop, staring into his untouched latte. I sold everything, he said without preamble. The clothes, the watches, the first-class ticket to Mykonos, paid back what I could. I stirred my coffee. Why? Because it wasn't mine to begin with. He finally met my eyes. It was yours. Technically, some of it was Aunt Felicity's. I met her yesterday. He smiled weakly. She called me an entitled little shit, then bought me dinner and showed me all the evidence. And I'm sorry. His voice cracked. I'm so fucking sorry, Marley. I knew they favored me, but I didn't know. I never thought that they were criminals, that they were cruel. He pushed a folded check across the table. It's not much, just what I got from selling everything. But it's a start. I looked at the check. $23,000. A fraction of what they'd taken, but more than I'd expected from Gavin. Keep it, I said. What? No, you have to. Trust me, I smiled. I'm about to have plenty of money. His eyes widened. The lawsuit? Court rules tomorrow. Between the identity theft, tax fraud, and inheritance theft. I sipped my coffee. Let's just say I won't need your designer hand-me-downs. They're going to lose everything, aren't they? Yes. He nodded slowly. Good. My phone buzzed. Felicity sending a video. Mom and Dad being served with another court notice. Want to watch them implode again? I offered. Gavin shook his head. I can't. I need to figure out who I am without them, without all of this. And how's that going? Terrifying, humbling. He attempted a smile. I got a job, barista at that new place on 7th. I nearly choked on my coffee. You? Working? Shocking, right? Turns out when you're not being bankrolled by criminal parents, you actually have to earn money. My phone buzzed again. Mark this time. Court's moving up the ruling. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. You coming? Be there, I typed back. Gavin watched me. Will you ever forgive them? No. Me? I studied my brother, really looked at him. The designer stubble was gone, replaced by actual stubble. The manicured nails were chipped. He looked real. Maybe, I said. Eventually, he nodded, standing. I should get to work. Early shift tomorrow. Gavin? He turned. Keep the money. Use it for actual school this time. His eyes welled up, but he blinked it away. Thanks, sis. After he left, I called Felicity. How'd it go with the golden child? He's tarnished but salvageable. I watched through the window as Gavin walked away. You really had dinner with him? Someone had to explain how spectacularly his parents fucked up. She paused. Ready for tomorrow? More than ready. Good, because I have one more surprise. She sounded gleeful. Remember that apartment they rented in your name? Yeah? I found the tenants, lovely couple, very interested in testifying about where they've been sending rent checks for the past 5 years. I smiled. You're evil. I prefer thorough. Keys clicked in the background. Oh, and the foreclosure auction for the house? I pulled some strings. It's happening next week. Perfect timing. Almost like we planned it. She laughed. See you in court, niece. I hung up and opened my banking app. The trust fund Felicity had set up for me, her way of making amends for not stopping my parents sooner, showed a healthy 6-figure balance, just enough to buy a certain house at auction. My phone lit up with a text from Mum. Please, we're still your parents. Don't do this. I thought about 18 months of ramen noodles, about cancelled therapy sessions and maxed out credit cards, about watching Gavin live the life my sacrifices funded. Then I thought about tomorrow when the court would rule, when the full weight of their crimes would come crashing down, when they'd finally face consequences. I typed back, you stopped being my parents the moment you decided to steal from me. Then I blocked their number, finished my coffee, and headed to the courthouse to watch justice unfold. Tomorrow, they'd lose everything. Next week, I'd buy their house. And after that? Well, karma was just getting started. The gavel struck with a finality that echoed through the courtroom. My parents sat frozen as the judge read out their sentences. 2 years house arrest, full financial restitution, and surrender of all assets obtained through fraudulent means. Mum sobbed. Dad stared straight ahead. Neither looked at me. All rise, the bailiff called. As everyone stood, Felicity squeezed my hand. Ready for part 2? I nodded, watching my parents shuffle out with their new criminal defense attorney, a far cry from their usual polished legal team. The house auction moved faster than I expected. Only 3 bidders showed up, a developer, a house flipper, and me. When I won with a bid of $425,000, the developer actually applauded. That's $40,000 less than market value, Felicity whispered. Karma's having a sale. I signed the paperwork with the same pen I'd used to write all those mortgage checks. The irony wasn't lost on me. The keys felt heavy in my hand as I walked up the familiar driveway. My parents had already moved to a small apartment across town, the only place that would accept tenants under house arrest. Inside, the house smelled of desperation and expensive perfume. Mum's designer shoes still lined the closet. Dad's golf trophies gathered dust on the mantel. In my old bedroom, I found a box of my childhood things they'd never bothered to send me. My phone buzzed, a text from Gavin. Just finished barista training. They're making me assistant manager next month. I smiled, typing back. Proud of you. Thanks. Hey, what are you doing with the house? I looked around at the space that had cost me 18 months of my life. Something poetic. The renovation team arrived the next morning. New paint, new floors, new everything. I kept one room exactly as it was. My old bedroom, complete with its faded posters and teenage dreams. "Your first Airbnb listing is live," Jessica announced, showing me her laptop. "Want to see the title I gave it?" I leaned in to read The House That Karma Built, a story of sweet revenge. The description below made me laugh. Stay in this beautifully renovated family home, recently acquired through karmic justice. Perfect for family reunions, functional ones only, corporate retreats, or anyone who enjoys the sweet taste of victory. Bonus, each booking includes a donation to financial literacy programs for young adults. "Too much?" Jessica asked. "It's perfect." The bookings started rolling in immediately. People loved the story, loved the renovation photos, loved the idea of staying in a house that represented justice served. I hired Gavin's coffee shop to provide welcome baskets for guests. He insisted on including handwritten notes. "Enjoy your stay in my sister's house. She earned it." My parents' apartment was on my drive home from work. Sometimes I'd pass by and see them through the window, Mom watering her single sad houseplant, Dad watching TV in his recliner, their ankle monitors blinking steadily. One evening I found a letter in my mailbox from Mom. "Dear Marley, I saw the Airbnb listing, The House That Karma Built." Clever. "I won't ask for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know, you won. You beat us at our own game, and you did it legally, ethically, brilliantly. You truly are the responsible one. Mom, P.S. Your father finally admitted you're smarter than him. It only took losing everything for him to see it." I showed the letter to Felicity over dinner. "Manipulative to the end," she snorted. "But there's a hint of respect there." "I don't want their respect," I said. "I just wanted justice. And you got it." She raised her glass. "To Karma and the niece who helped it along." My phone buzzed. Another Airbnb booking. This one left a note. "Loved the story behind the house. You're my hero." I smiled, thinking about the journey from that first desperate mortgage payment to now. The house that once drained my bank account now funded my future. The family that once exploited my responsibility now watched from the sidelines as I succeeded without them. Later that night, I sat in my old bedroom, the only room I kept unchanged. On the wall hung my college acceptance letter, never used because the money vanished. Beside it, I pinned something new, the property deed to the house, my name in bold letters. My phone lit up with a final text from Gavin. "Hey sis, thanks for showing me what real strength looks like." I looked around the room, at the past and present mingled together, and typed back, "Welcome to the responsible side of the family." Then I turned off the lights and walked out, leaving the ghosts of my parents' manipulation behind. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine came with a property deed and 5-star reviews. And I didn't have to lift more than a finger to make it happen.